A couple years ago, I was in complete social isolation. And no, it wasn't because of the COVID-19 pandemic. I will tell you in a moment what caused it, but first, I will let you know what it did to me. It crushed my mental health, it triggered depression, and it brought back loneliness I thought I had let go of. I was for 6 months completely alone. And when you're alone for so long time, you will become crazy. It almost felt like the walls came closer and closer to me. This situation was one of the most hardest moments in my life. But it triggered a real problem, which gave me more and more misery in my life. And if you clicked on this video, there's a big chance it's the exact same misery as I experienced before. The moment where you cannot escape yourself anymore. But that moment taught me something raw. Something no one really talks about. And it brought up emotions I didn't even knew I still had in me. Old shit. But that's why I made this video, man. Because that lesson actually changed my life in a positive way. So maybe on the end of this video, it will give you a little bit relief. You will maybe feel lighter. Or maybe it's giving you an insight which you can apply to your life and change your life as well. So, what was this breaking point in my life? We have to go back some years. I still remember 4 years ago, I was in my graduation year. I was almost done with my study. And on that moment, I also had a part-time job. And I still remember the moment when I was working in logistics and suddenly, you know, we had like very heavy groceries for like wholesalers. And I think it was a Thursday evening. I just did my normal job. And then in one moment, I was lifting some products on. And suddenly I hear crack. First I was like, where is this sound coming from? And 3 seconds afterwards, I realized it was my lower back. I felt the most painful feeling I ever experienced in my life. And I still remembered after those 3 seconds, I couldn't walk straight, you know. And I told my boss, like, I have to go to the doctor or something. And I still remember the moment when I was cycling back. I was even crying because of the pain. And suddenly when I was at home, I went to the physiotherapist because I knew it was something with my muscles or bones. And after taking the cab to the physiotherapist, she told me that I had a severe herniated discs in my lower back. And I was fucked. And she told me that I had to prepare, that I was out of running for a long time. The only thing I could do was lay down on the couch, specific exercises when it's possible, and walking. But in the start, the first time, I couldn't even do the second two. So the only thing I could do was laying down on the couch. And every movement I did, it was so fucking painful, man. So, you know, the first 2 days, it's pretty okay, you know? You're just like watching Netflix and it's very relaxing maybe in the start. But then the negative thoughts came to the fore. On one moment it was the thoughts about my back, if I will ever recover this. But on the other hand, it was also like negative emotions from the past. I'm going to tell you more about my story in this later on. But the point was, I couldn't escape anymore from my emotions. I couldn't go out, I couldn't go to the gym, I couldn't see friends. I was only with myself and my thoughts. And that was very confronting. Because in one moment, the silence in your room will become loud. And the voices in your head becoming louder and louder. But this wasn't the real problem. Because this big moment in my life with sitting alone for almost 6 months caused something bigger. You can imagine when you're sitting at home a long time, no external distractions, completely social isolation, you are going to find ways how you get connection. And my way of getting connection was by watching porn. Watching a lot of porn. And maybe from the start it doesn't seem like a big problem, but it was my way of feeling less alone. And another way how I distract myself in this period was gaming, you know. I was gaming a lot on my laptop. I was doing fucking Pokemon and stuff like that. It was a way how I distracted myself. So suddenly when you're in a moment and you have like low energy because you're fucking fapping every day, you have the negative thoughts of the situation you're in, you cannot work anymore. You're watching entertainment the whole day, you're doing gaming the whole day. You will talk yourself more down and down. And what is causing that is severe loneliness. But this loneliness also gave me the belief of I have to do this life all myself. I have to do everything alone. So suddenly when I was get better with my back, instead of seeing more people around me, even I can do these things, I was completely shutting people down because I had to believe of I have to do it all myself, you know. And sure, there were sometimes friends came by and stuff like that. And sure, I could finally also walk and yeah, I can also do more exercise for my lower back, but it was still like a problem. I still have now, 4 years later, a shit back. And it's not that worse as before, but this whole situation gave me the belief of that escaping is something good, you know? That people are not there for me. And that was freaking hard, man. It was one of my shittest moments in my life. It was one of the most depressive moments in my life. So more about my story. When I was younger, when I was 7 years of age, in that moment my father drank alcohol very heavy. He was an alcoholic, and that is one of the reasons why my father and my mother couldn't take care of me, myself and my brother. I'm not going to say that it's only my father's fault. It's also the fault of my mother and how she raised me, or didn't raise me, you know. But I lived in several foster homes, and from a young age I've been through a lot. I had to move out, I had to make new friends on a new place, I had to stop seeing my friends before, you know, and that caused me separation anxiety and fear of commitment. So that is also the thing I experienced in my life as well. And that moment in my life gave me a lot of suppressed and repressed emotions. And that came from negative self-talk. So suddenly when you're like isolating for a long time, you know, all deep-rooted emotions, maybe memories, I came to the fore. From my younger years, I saw that everybody was making decisions over me, you know, foster care. You know, these were people like not my parents who made choices over me. And I was a very fragile child. So I was also an easy kid for bullying and stuff like that. And I'm not going to say that I've been bullied a lot, but sometimes I was the person they took a piss to, you know? And that was because I was very weak. I was very in myself, I was very insecure. So all those moments came to the fore later in my life. So the old insecure kid came back in the moments when I was in complete isolation. Even though when I went to the gym, I was very, you know, I was still very muscular, you know? And I was very dedicated in that as well, you know? But I was still the small kid on the other side. I'm going to change a little bit up because, you know, my lower back is a little bit shit. So I will come back to you later. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm also wearing like a back brace still, you know? So it's fucked, but you know how it is. So months passed by, I was completely fucked myself over, and On one moment, I was looking in the mirror and I saw myself fucking fat, eating a lot of shit. Like underneath my eyes there was like the, I don't know how you call it, but you could see that I was very tired. So the mental stuff also have impact on your physical stuff, And besides that, I was in a fucking victim mentality. But that moment, when I looked in the mirror, I was like, first having the thought of, well, this is my life. This is how life is. Life is shit. Nobody cared about me. And this is what I have to accept for the rest of my life. But the funny part was, on that moment, when I was looking away from the mirror, something clicked in me. I heard like a very heavy, no, that's not true. I hear that voice. No, that wasn't true. And that voice was fucking right, man. How long will you completely fuck yourself over? How long will you keep yourself small? And these were the questions which came to the fore in that moment. I suddenly came to the realization that maybe the back injury was just part of life, But the way how I responded to that was the problem. On that moment it just clicked, man. So suddenly I came to the realization that nobody is going to save me from that moment in my life, Nobody is going to save me. So for the first time in my life, I stopped with that other people have to save me, man. Because I was responsible for my own life. I am still responsible for my own life. But on that moment, that raw truth, with all those emotions, for the first time in my life, I just let go of my pain. It was the first time that I've cried for a long time. I was just crying for 5 minutes long because of that realization of how shit my life was. But also the realization of that I kept myself small in that moment. I don't know what I felt in that moment. I was angry on myself. I cried because I was keeping myself so small, almost that I didn't deserve love, that I didn't deserve life. And that was very hard to realize. Ronald, you don't deserve love. If you're saying that to yourself, that you don't deserve love, that you don't deserve success, that you don't deserve a life, and you're sitting at home there, escaping from that pain, I feel your pain, man. I actually feel your pain. I really do. Why are you keeping yourself so small, man? Why are you isolating? Why don't you deserve love? Maybe nobody said it to you, but I fucking love you, man. I'm fucking proud of you. With everything you're currently doing. Maybe you also had like a heavy past. Maybe your father was also an alcoholic, maybe a drug addict. Maybe you also lived in foster care. Maybe your first girlfriend dumped you. Maybe your parents don't believe in you. Maybe you felt the pressure that you have to perform in this life. Maybe your business failed. Maybe you're scrolling the whole day on TikTok or Instagram. It's okay that you feel shit, man. It's okay to feel shit. Whatever that is. Maybe you're suppressing your emotions with everything what happened in your life. What currently is happening in your life. Maybe you do. I really love you, man. But you should also love yourself, man. And do you really think it's an act of love that you're isolating in your home? Do you really think it's an act of love that you're watching porn the whole day? Scrolling on Instagram the whole day? Not seeing friends or trying to see new friends in your life? To watch news the whole day? Do you really think that's an act of love? Or do you really think there's more in you? Because I believe there's more in you, man. I really do. I believe there's more in you. Look yourself in the mirror. See. Look in your eyes. There's more in you, man. There is. But you have to take fucking responsibility for yourself. Done with the fucking victim mentality. Because you deserve more than that. You fucking deserve more than that. You deserve life. And even though when something external happened to you, sometimes those moments are shit. Sometimes it's very hard to accept. It is. If you're feeling something right now, don't push it away, man. Don't push it away. Look at in the eye, the pain. Maybe something would happen to you. Maybe somebody did something to you. It's very shit. It's okay. Let it go. Let that moment go, man. But look also it in the eye. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's disbelief. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's shame. Look at the shame. Look it in the eye. It's there for you, man. The shame is there for a reason. He's going to tell you something about life. He's going to tell you that you've been running away too much in your life, man. It's time to create. And it's okay to face those hard moments in your life. But take responsibility for yourself. Right now. I really care about you. I do. I really care about you. And I can also say to myself, everything what happened in my life is just fuel. Fuel to get the maximum out of myself. Because I freaking love myself. I am success. I am mental strength. I'm physical strength. I am love. I am discipline. I am purpose. I am. You are. You don't have to look at abroad. It's within. But finally, when you came to the realization that it's within, you think, why am I always looking it outside? Maybe in porn as well. Maybe in gaming as well. Maybe in watching Netflix as well. What will the young you say now to you? When I look at the young Ronald, insecure, weak, victim, how will he look to me if I'm still a victim myself, he will look very shit to him. He know he's capable of more, but he didn't knew. But this version of you knows. You know you have to change yourself. You know you have to look into the devil. Sometimes you do. It's part of nature, man. Sometimes you have to look and face the demons in your life. It's there for a reason. Most people are just walking away from those demons, how hard it also is, but that's the raw truth. If you want to change, you have to look within, man. This is no spiritual stuff. It's nature. It's how it's supposed to be. You have punished yourself for too long, man. Now it's enough. You're done with ghosting yourself. From today, you don't need a new life, man. You only have one. So get the maximum out of it, man.